Welcome to the Frequently Asked Questions podcast. Fuzzy and Quincy, subscribe, comment, share, like, do all of that on
please.
Instagram, YouTube, everywhere you watch podcasts. Today, Fuzz,
It's a good show.
He's judging us already.
Yeah, he may be able to give us to report, like grade our report card at the end of this.
This is not the first time that he's been on
Definitely
the FAQ
not.
podcast.
No, it's not.
This is our second time
in person, though. First time in person.
First time in person. We have athlete, we have actor, we have social activist, producer, all around great guy, host,
father,
podfather.
Podfather. You got to talk about that also.
That's a good one.
Yes, we have Matt Barnes. Let's get Matt Barnes. Matt
Barnes. Fellas, I appreciate you having me, man.
No, thanks for coming by, man.
No doubt. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. You know, we've been watching the podcast with you and Steve. I mean, it's like it's exploded.
You guys y'all make it look easy and effortless. And y'all have a great union, bro.
Yeah. I think that's the key to the show is that was my brother before we started doing this. You know, we had been through some stuff. He was there for me when my mom died. My mom died when I played for the Warriors in 2008. So Jack was there checking on me every day, bringing me food, bringing me weed, smoking with me, chilling. So we became brothers there. So it was just a natural bond. And then post-career, you know, neither of us really knew. I mean, I was in the business, but I didn't know what I wanted to do as far as TV went. And we both started doing, ESPN, Fox, and getting good feedback. But it was obviously with those companies, you got to kind of walk your straight line because that's corporate.
Right.
So one day I was just like, we need to do a podcast. And I didn't really know what a podcast was, but I just knew we could freely kind of talk our shit. And
because you're not out of the NBA now. You guys can talk.
We could freely speak. And he's just like, make it happen. And, I went out there and kind of did my homework. Got connected to Showtime and made it happen. But I think what makes our show so special, again, like you said, is our bond because we can talk shit to each other and like real shit and keep it moving. You know what I mean? And laugh about it and keep the show moving. Going. It's just a natural give and take vibe and energy. And, we found some magic in something that we didn't really even know what it was at the beginning.
Who came up with the name All the Smoke?
My sister.
Really?
Yeah, so we were trying to figure out what it was, and I was going to make it kind of fans volunteering to best name. I'll give you $5,000. You can come on the show and meet the team and everything. And my sister came up with the name.
Wow. How many people are working on All the Smoke now?
Oh man, we got a village now. We probably got between cameramen, cameras, producers, probably 7 or 8 people.
Wow.
Damn. So we gotta get our team up. Shout out to Courage.
Shout out to Courage, favorite films. We love
Courage
favorite
out
films.
Here doing this thing, man.
Yes. So I'm gonna go back to something you said. You said you and Steve, Golden State, you're there. Mm-hmm. You're smoking weed. How? And I know you talked about this before, but how prevalent is weed in the NBA? I know they're not, testing for it now.
Yeah, they're not testing no more.
But before,
it was heavy. It was something, but it wasn't something that we did to promote or do. You did it because you needed it, And when I try to explain it, to me, I've been smoking since I was 14, through high school, through UCLA, through my whole career.
Wow.
I've been smoking, but I try to remove the word high from it and explain the educational and the beneficial side of it. This is why I use it.
Is that right?
Right. This is why I use it. This is when I use it. This is the reason why. This is the effect I know I'm going to get. Because I wasn't really someone who took painkillers well. Like one single painkiller would twist my stomach up. You know what I mean? So it's just like that wasn't what I did. I'll socially drink, but I just needed something to help me sleep, to take away the pain, take away the swelling, and all that other shit. So I just chose weed.
Because that's a lot of, you putting your body through a lot. Running up and down the court, slamming, and jumping
all the time. It's a marathon out there. So our bodies get beat up, and the physicians, our trainers are giving us opioids that we all know are masking one problem and causing another long-term side effects. So I just wasn't really with that, and I pretty much risked my entire career because you get caught 3 times. You get suspended, and then who knows what kind of shit happens after that. So I failed twice and probably had about 2.5 strikes before I retired. So I was right there on the edge of my next one. I would have been in trouble. But to me,
really,
there was no
3 times and that's it?
3 strikes, yeah.
So when you got caught, like the first time, they like, all right, Matt, come on, we need you pee in the cup. Are you like, damn, I'm high right now? Like, damn.
I smoked last night.
Yeah.
I was at a party.
Yeah, actually, the first time I got caught was with that Golden State team. It was after my birthday in March, and a gang of us got caught. The owner of this little facility we're working in right now got caught too.
Really?
Yeah. So he
You
was.
bitch you.
Yeah. So I think it was me, BD, and Jack all got popped, but I mean, it didn't really stop us. We just had to do what we had to do. I mean, we still smoked while we were in the program and got through it. So
Damn. And your birthday is March 9th.
9th.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the day Biggie died.
That's the day Biggie died.
Yeah.
Damn.
So you wake up, think you're celebrating a birthday, then you find out.
Yeah. So that was what was that? 97.
Yeah, that was a Saturday. That was a Saturday.
97.
Yeah, it was a Saturday.
See, I was a senior in high school when Big died on my birthday.
Damn.
It's sad because I'm a Pac first and foremost, but I
Right.
was just a huge fan of Biggie as well. So, to know that I share that day is eerie because obviously you wish he was still here, but it's an honor to share a day with him.
What high school did you go to?
I was up in Sacramento. I went to Del Campo High School, so it was a predominantly white school, probably 98% white, and me being half black and half Italian, me and my sister only counted as one full person. So there's probably about eight black kids in the whole school.
Really?
Yeah.
And you were like the basketball star at that high school?
And football, yeah.
You played football
Yeah,
too?
football
I
was
didn't know
my
that.
first. Yeah, football was my first sport. I was
Really?
the top receiver. My senior year, led the nation in touchdowns and.
Oh, no, come on.
You can't
I
breeze
know,
over
I
that.
know you.
You can't.
I know
You can't.
Yeah.
You
Nah,
can't
football
just
was
say
my
that.
thing, yeah. And I was all American. Like football was my shit, and
So
I chose basketball for longevity.
Was it? Yeah. Like, was it tough? Was
I
that?
had an opportunity to go, where I wanted to go to play football as well. But I remember during the AU tournament, I came to LA. You got to think I'm living in Sacramento. I came to LA and seen the beach and the palm trees, and then we happened to go to have a tour at UCLA, and I seen girls out there. I'm like, oh shit, I'm coming here. And this is when I was like 14 maybe, and they started recruiting me right after that. So I was kind of just locked into doing the UCLA thing.
Wow.
So do you feel like that if you know you're going to be a basketball player, I feel like when kids even at your kid's age, like they know they want to play basketball, then that's when the hype kicks in. Like I feel like sometimes you will those kind of things in, like I need to be tall. Like, do you feel like since you decided that you want to be in basketball that you just got taller? Is your family tall?
No, they're not. My mom, who passed away from cancer in 2008, she was like 5'5". My dad was 5'9".
What?
Like,
And your
then
sister's not?
No, my sister's like 5'10". My brother's 6'4", and then I got to 6'8".
That's crazy. And you don't see 6'8" receivers.
No.
That's another thing.
No, but for like literally growing up, my dad was one of the last cuts by Bill Walsh in the early '80s for the 49ers, but he was running the streets too, so he would always play in these Saturday no padded tackle football leagues. So I grew up on the sidelines every Saturday watching my dad play football. My dad was nice too, so running motherfuckers over, them fighting, all that kind of shit. So I grew up
No
every
pads,
Saturday.
bro?
No pads.
Oh, wow.
No pads.
He out there getting it.
Going crazy. I grew up playing like tackle football in the street. You know what I mean? And if we moved to the side, there was always grass and then there was sidewalks. So, it was all in. You know what I mean? So I just really grew up a football player, and I felt like that's how I led my NBA career. I just felt like I was a football player that knew how to play basketball. That's why I loved to run the lanes and, have my point guard pass me the ball. I loved the physicality. I loved defense. Like, I don't mind mixing it up because I was a football player the whole time at heart.
So do the twins know this story, and do they want to play football also?
Yeah, so they were playing football, right up into the pandemic. And we're just in such a different time now, growing up. Through high school, I played football, baseball, basketball, track. You know what I mean? And everything is so kind of sports specific now. Like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And the parents pump the kids in it year round. And to me, that's not the right route. But at the same time, I don't want to force them to do nothing. So I think the pandemic has slowed down a little bit, but they were playing football and basketball. We had them in soccer. They've done a bunch of different shit, but to me, I'm not going to make them do anything they don't want to do. So they they love basketball, they love football. So hopefully when flag football comes back around,
they can get at it.
get back in it. Yeah.
Are they feeling the pressure that, they know who you are, but I feel like your star has, elevated more with what you're doing with media now. Like, do they feel like?
I think they do. And it's something we talk about. This is the one thing, with them being in the podcast space now and having a little bit of fame, because we have a really good AAU team. We're, top, any given time, top 5, top 10 in the country. But, try to teach them that people are going to dislike them because of who I am. People are going to dislike them because they're good. People are going to dislike them because they don't like their mom. Like, you know, because we've kind of all been in the public eye. So there's going to be a lot of reasons why people dislike them. And I just want to prepare them for that. You know what I mean? Because there's so much negative energy now on social media that I really kind of wanted to control their step into this space, because I knew it was going to be a successful space that they can, you know, thrive in. Because we, you know, when we were married early on, we had a chance to put them in movies and commercials and shit, and we would take them to auditions, and they just weren't feeling it. And although they were 2 and small, and they just weren't feeling it. So
their heart wasn't in it.
So we didn't do it. You know what I mean? And now, you know, fast forward, you know, 10 years later, like, you know, we have a really good basketball team, and we're filming a doc to follow our team. So we're making like a little short form documentary about their AU team. You know, their podcast, the Barnes Boys podcast, is taking off.
What's the name of the podcast?
Yeah, the Barnes Boys podcast with a Z instead of
Fire,
an S.
bro.
Let me
Anytime you post it on Instagram, I look at it.
Go crazy.
Yo, Matt,
crazy.
so let me tell you, I've been hearing about this. He's been promoting your podcast. I have 3 sons.
Okay, what are their ages?
10, 7, and 2.
I'll say maybe the 10 and maybe the 7.
And he's like, oh man, you see what
Check
Matt
it
Barnes
out.
doing with his kids, man? You need to do this.
Yo, they
Come on,
be
Q.
I love them
And
dudes,
they
man.
they love the camera.
Yeah.
They love putting on. So I'm
Yeah.
like,
No, that's dope. But it's like similar to me and Jack's connection, but their shit is realer because they're real brothers. You know what I mean? I tell people having identical twins, like, you go to bed and wake up with your best friend every day. So their natural vibe, I didn't want to deter that too much. That's why you'll see them wrestle sometimes on the podcast. You'll see them slap each other because they do that shit every day. You know what I mean? So when we started talking, when they said, Dad, we want to do a podcast, like, I didn't at first, you know, because their mom came over and they wrestled and their mom told them to stop. And then you can't. I was just like, nah, let them be them.
That's them.
Let them be them. You know, they'll grow out of that shit. You know, they're about to be 13 in November, but I think it's funny, and I read the comments and the feedback, and people love that they're just unapologetically them, like myself. You know what I mean? And the fact that they know what they're talking about, but their chemistry and their bounce back and forth off each other is
Bro, I learned
dope.
so much about sports watching them. Like, I'm not a sports head. Like, I'm a Laker fan. That's it, right? So, but it's been things they were like, oh no, so and so's going to get drafted, da da da, and you like, and they were like, but you don't like so and so, and I'm like, and I'm really googling this shit, like, damn, they really know what the fuck they talking about. But they break it down for me on some like,
right, just quick, easy way to digest
super
it.
digest.
Yeah, it's just an easy way to
me.
digest it, and they have a good bounce of shit talking, and like, to me, like, I think we've always kind of been conditioned when we've been growing up, and even to this day, like, kids have always had to listen to us and our opinions and what we think and go by this shit. To me, we're in such a different time now. Like, why not hear what they think about Odell Beckham paying 1.5 for his teeth? Let me hear what they think about the Kanye and Drake beef.
They gonna have a conversation anyway at school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So let me
Amongst the
hear
homies.
like an unfiltered, like, what they think. You know, because Drake is God to the twins, because that's the generation they come
they
up
speak
in.
about music.
You know what I mean?
They'll talk
they
about
talk
music.
about music. They talk about sneakers. They talk about video games. They talk about all the shit they would talk at school with their friends.
you gonna
and
make me? I'm gonna have to do
Nah,
this.
bro, it's
Yeah,
so well
it's dope.
produced and so well done. It's like, it ain't script. It's them. I know it's them.
Yeah. Somebody on Instagram was like, "Come on, Q, you might as well be Joe Jackson and put them boys, get them a TV."
Nah,
I'm
he
like,
got, and I always call Q because, you know, I'm an only child, but I always envy like seeing brothers grow up with siblings, like, and they really, you know, Q has some really good kids, man. Like, even down to the little 2-year-old, man. He's starting to say fuzzy, you know what I'm saying? So it makes me happy.
He is.
So, you know, shout out to Brother Wade. You know what I mean?
Oh, they're Jordan, Kobe, and Wade.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
names?
That's the names, yeah.
dope.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's
Oh.
super dope.
All right, we'll figure it out. All right,
Yeah.
man. You're like, Matt's coming here to be our counselor now.
Yeah, but he may need some counseling at the end of this session.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
I'm with it.
So, okay, so Matt, when I first saw you, when I really first saw you, it was like, I'm from Philly. So you played for the Sixers.
I didn't play, but I was there.
You were there. Yeah. You were
You didn't play, but you were there.
No, I should have fucking played Fuck Mo Cheeks, but go ahead.
Talk to us. Yeah. Why didn't Mo Cheeks play you?
So what happened was, my first handful of years was a grind in the NBA. And I ended up getting to my hometown Sacramento Kings team, and this is right when they're battling the Lakers to go to the finals when they got cheated in Game 6. You remember that? You're a Lakers fan.
Yeah.
Robert Horry hits a big shot, like all that kind of stuff. So I'm in the mix of going to UCLA while my hometown team is popping. I grew up a Lakers fan, but then obviously moving to Sacramento at a young age, like I was a Kings fan. So I get a chance to go and play with that good team with Bibb and Peja, Webb, Lottie, all them. So I go, and that's when they decided to trade C. Webb. So I was kind of a throw-in in that trade. So I went over to Philly. The first year, Jim O'Brien, Rick Pitino wannabe, like, just didn't even give me a chance. So I sat the bench the whole year and just worked on my game. Didn't complain. They bring me back the next year, and it's Mo Cheeks. And Mo Cheeks is, I was a fan of Mo until I met him as a person.
As a coach?
Yeah. He was a point guard for the Sixers.
Yeah, he's one of the greatest point guards. I'm definitely probably the greatest Sixer point guard, but, he was a great player.
Okay.
But met him as a coach, and he was just too caught up in still trying to be a funny player and not being a serious coach. So a lot of shit, he got checked by a lot of the stars on our team in some ways that were just
disrespectful,
funny as a motherfucker. I loved him. But anyway, like, he was on the same shit. Like, I wouldn't get a chance to play, so I would take practice like my games. I'm going to go hard. And this is with like a young Iguodala, a young Kyle Korver. Lou Will was fresh out of high school. They was on this team. So
the Sixers were young. It's a young team.
Yeah.
When you
So I mean, practices would be live because we were young. And, whenever he would let me even practice, I would go out there and play hard. And I remember one time we were in a transition drill, and I came down and I took a shot and I missed, but I was wide open. And he stopped the whole, well, you're not here to shoot. What do you think you're doing? You better pass that shit. And I looked at this motherfucker like, what? But let me actually rewind. So before that actual day in practice happened, like I said, I wasn't playing, so I was getting work with the shooting coach and trying to, change my form and just getting reps up all by myself, me and the shooting coach. One day he walks in the gym, and comes in, he's trying to be funny. Haha, what are you working on your shot for? You're not going to shoot here. And I'm just like,
man, he beating you down.
You're a weirdo, bro. What the fuck you doing in here? Either just keep it moving or say something positive or get the fuck out. So I didn't say nothing. I just shook my head and kind of ha-ha'd him. So then fast forward to when practice hit, and he told me basically the same shit. You don't shoot here. You better pass that. Da-da-da-da. And as soon as he said that, like, I took off after him. And it was either like C. Webb or the big Mark Jackson who grabbed me. I would have beat the shit out of him that day and probably never really got a run in the NBA because I was done with this dude. I really wanted to hurt him.
He was being disrespectful.
He was a bitch, straight up. Wow. So fast forward, that next season is when I go to that We Believe team with BD. And I tell my coach, Don Nelson, like, yo, I don't fuck with this dude. And kind of gave him just a watered-down version of what had happened. And he's like, stay out of foul trouble and I'll let you play. And so I come out and I hit my first 2 shots. I hit my first shot.
In the game?
Yeah. And he's like, oh, that's luck. I heard him say, that's luck. Come down. It was my first 3. Come down, hit my second 3. Oh, that shit is luck. Leave him open. Keep shooting. After he's talking shit about the second one, we start going back and forth. Like, fuck you, motherfucker. Like, so we back and forth the whole game. Yeah. The whole game, we back and forth. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck this, fuck that. So I ended up going like 8 for 10 from the field, hitting 7 threes, and had like 28 points or something. And was talking shit to him the whole time. And like, I'm once you get to know me, I'm cool. So my former Sixer teammates were all loving it, laughing at Mo. Even the trainers were laughing at him.
You had him on the team, you get a chance to shine.
Didn't give me a chance to do nothing, bro. So the first chance I got, like, I torched his ass and talked shit every single basket. Oh. That shit felt good.
So every time you played the Sixers, you was lighting their ass up.
I still haven't even, like, he's moved on. Obviously, I've moved on, but throughout my career, that was early in my career. Like, we never had another conversation. Like,
Why don't you have that conversation on All the Smoke? Because that's smoky.
Because I don't give a fuck about him enough. He just, to me, like, I'm great with being coached, but don't disrespect me as a man, especially when you're in a position of power and you're supposed to empower your players. And this is me when I'm 20. I'm 41 now, but this is me at 20.
But that could have fucked with your whole psyche, bro.
It could have, but I just use it as motivation. Like, I've always had an uphill battle. So
you still low-key want to kind of...
I'll slap the shit out of Mo.
And Fuzz, let me break something down to you, Fuzz.
Please tell me.
Mo Cheeks, the
great
Sixers,
player.
Sixers won the NBA finals, the only finals.
He played with Dr. J.
In 1983.
So he was on the Sixers.
Yeah,
and he became a coach.
People loved him. I think
loved him.
He played for the Sixers.
It's like Magic, like how we love Magic in LA.
Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down.
Yeah. Okay. It's not that much.
Not much love. Okay.
He was their best point guard ever.
Like, yes. Like how y'all love Byron Scott.
Got it. Shout out to Byron Scott, number 4.
Yeah, still, but like that.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. Like, from a fan perspective, it's like, oh man, we love Mo Cheeks. So this is like, I saw him in Vegas when we went to go see Usher. I'm like, oh, what's up, Mo? Hey, what's up?
He's probably a cool dude too. We just never had that opportunity. He just kind of
Dude, you
felt
need
like
to
he
do it
was
on your
going to be the
show.
fun. I just don't care enough to give him that attention.
I'm trying to be Ayanna Van Zant with you right now. With that.
We're good.
He said
Because he may have been going through something. He may have been.
He could have, but like to me, like I said, it was.
It's how you say it to you.
It's how you say it, and then you were looking for a laugh as well. Why you were doing this shit. You know what I mean? It was kind of a key
But
situation.
is that a rookie hazing? What is that?
I wasn't a rookie.
You
it was
wasn't?
just him trying to be funny. That's all it was. So it just didn't work. It landed on deaf ears.
Sheesh.
It was crazy too because we had C Webb on the podcast a little bit ago, and he happened to bring that shit up, and I didn't know if anyone remembered it, how I remembered it, or I was exaggerating because it's been so many years. Bro told the story just like I told it.
Shout out to C Webb.
That's the homie. Yeah, fuck a Webb.
He a real
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Darn. And was AI on that team?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely. Legendary. To see what he went through every day. And I was cool with him, so I got to move around, and we would go to Atlantic City every once in a while and go out. And
You ever go to Fridays?
Oh yeah, it's a spot. It's after hour spot. After every game, he's there. But
the restaurant.
yeah,
Yes, on City Line Ave.
He'd had that shit packed though. Everyone knew he would go. That was like his spot. But to see what he went through day in, day out, man, how little he was, how fearless he was, how much heart, but how beat up he would get. This dude would have like tennis balls on his elbows from falling, have bursa sacks on his elbows, on his hips, knees all beat up because he was so little but so fearless. And this is back in the NBA where you could put a body on somebody. So you go to the lane and you keep killing, a motherfucker's going to put you down, even if you're AI. You know what I mean? So he played in an era where it was real physical basketball. So to see that dude and his preparation and what he went through every day to be great on the court, I had just such a different perspective and love and respect for my bro.
Damn. No, so now you just said something that got me thinking. Like, so you think NBA softer than when you were in it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's not. Well, I mean, it's
not softer, but
I don't mean soft in a bad. Like to me, and I would say probably some of the players are softer because they've been raised to play this way. This game now is more skilled and finesse and see how many points you can score because that's what's good for clickbait.
Because the
and
new rules or whatever, right?
Shit. So they started changing the rules. It's just a change in the game. They started taking away from the defensive physicality and what you're able to do and really even say because they wanted to see more points scored. You know, people. And the way I look at it is I kind of just understand the movement. Like I'd much rather see highlights of LeBron dunking and some of these young boys dunking and Steph and Dame shooting from half court than see like a defensive battle. Like no one wants to see that highlight. You know what I mean? So even though I play defense and love that side of the game, people want to see action.
You like the business side of it too.
So I get it because obviously the NBA is bigger than it's ever been. It's a global game now. So I just understood where they were going. So yes, the game is much softer than it used to be, but it's just kind of the progression of the game.
Do you not envy, but like, do you look at some of these players and how they're getting paid? Like, damn, dog.
Like, yeah, I mean, to me, I appreciate it. You know what I mean? Because like I said, you always want to see stuff grow. You know what I mean? So, you know, who I feel bad for are the stars before me, like the superstars before me. That Steph is making $45 million next year, and some of these superstar Hall of Famers made $20 million in their whole career, $10 million in their whole career.
In their whole career.
You know what I mean? Which is, you know, you got to think Magic Johnson's first contract, if I'm not mistaken, was like a 20-year contract, $1 million a year. But that was crazy back then in the 80s. You know what I mean? And you think, again, Steph has been the highest paid player for 4 straight years. And I want to say he's pushing on like $47 million just from basketball next season and making way more than that off the court. You know what I mean? So it's just like, but it's like I said, it's the elevation of the game. That's why the Twins better get their little asses in the gym and get to work. You know
you be having. I see. Matt will post something on Instagram. They working out at the house. I assume they doing their little ladder drills and stuff. Like, I really like how you're hands on with them, man.
But my thing with that though, too, to be honest with you, it was never going to be a situation where I pushed them to do it. Like the Twins have got by playing basketball with a very high basketball IQ, and like I said earlier, I really talked to them about the mental side. But they've just been around me, so they're in the locker room with me and Kobe. They're in the locker room with me, CP, Blake. For Lob City. When I go to the Warriors, my final season, win a championship, you know, they're traveling on the team playing with us, and they're in practice. In the Western Conference Finals, we're playing against Houston, and Isaiah and Carter are 9 years old having a 3-point contest with KD and Steph. Like, that shit you can't pay for, teach, nothing. You know what I mean? So they're just getting isms left and right. So when they got into basketball, they were just so good because at a young age, they know how to run a pick and roll and do all this kind of weird shit because they've been soaking the game up. So, you know, as they're getting getting older now. They're about to be 13. Like, you need to start working out now because it's a different game. So now I've never pushed them to work out or, you know, you're going to do this. Like, to me, it's always if you want to. I would tell them, like, all they want to do is play on their fucking iPads and video games. Great, but don't expect to, you know, really make a move in basketball. You're going to be good, but you're not going to be with it great.
Yeah.
So
they're taking it a little serious.
So they started taking it a lot seriouser. I had, rest in peace, for Kobe passed for their 10th birthday. I got Kobe to work them out, so we went out to Orange County. And Kobe's like, what are they into? They love basketball. They this and that. I was like, nah, they don't love basketball yet. He's like, what do they do? He's like, they play video games all day. So right when we come into the gym, he gives them a hug because the boys hadn't seen him in a little bit.
Okay.
Asked them, boys, what's up? What's happening? How's basketball? And again, we had a good deal. Oh, you know, our team's really good. And he's like, how are you guys? We're good. He's like, where are you guys going to go to school after? They both said UCLA. And then he's like, no, you're not. And the boys are like, the fuck? What you mean?
You get it with that?
And he's like, your dad tells me all you guys want to do is play video games. So you might be able to go to school because you're smart, but you're not going to go and play basketball. And they're like, oh, shit. Okay. So
you saw
Kobe,
a click, right?
So Kobe said it. So it's a little different. So fast forward, this was the end of November. Kobe passes at the end of January, so 2.5 months later, and they took that shit hard because Kobe has always been in their life ever since we played together. It was Uncle Kobe giving them shoes and shit. So Kobe passes the following January at the end of the month, and a light switch went on.
Wow.
And when I tell you, ever since then, like, they've just been on the grind, and it's been dope because I've seen them get so much better from working out now. Like I said, I was never going to be the dad to push them, but something they had to want it. You know what I mean? I was going to give them every resource they needed to get there, but they had to want it. So I can't want it more than them. And that's what it bothers me when I see parents want shit more than their kids do, because that means you're pushing your kid to do something they really don't want to do. So to me, you had to show me the love, and then I was going to put you in a position to be with the right people to get you where you need to go.
Yeah, nah, dude, dope. I mean, how is the relationship now? You've lived so much of your life publicly. How is the relationship with co-parenting now? You know,
it's dope. It's super dope. Crazy enough, like, the twins' mom, Gloria, is my assistant coach now. And we've had a well-publicized divorce fight.
Yeah.
Me and old boy fought, whatever. But we're great. Like, they just got married a couple months ago. Like, their boy's last birthday party was at my house, and Derek and Gloria both came and mingled with me and my girl, and everything was fine. So at the end of the day, we finally got to the point, although it took nearly 6 years, but we finally here, which I love, though, that we can communicate. She's my assistant coach. We travel. It's just and like I said, Derek and I are cool. Derek and I were cool the summer after we fought because we had squashed it, but it was just still tension between the whole situation. So everything finally just blew over, man, maybe like a year and a half ago, and we've been co-parenting on another level, and it's dope because I know the boys love it. You know what I mean? The boys love the fact that they can have their mom and dad, and it's not...
Be cool.
Yeah, and like, you know, we're going on trips, and both of us are there all the time, and it's dope for them, and that's what I love. So, and then, I mean, just for me and the journey it took to get there, because it was, a lot of court and a lot of media and a lot of bullshit, so to finally be able to get through all that smoke and be cool on all sides is dope.
You see how you put in all the smoke? I saw that too.
I like it.
Maybe a book, maybe a co-parenting book.
Yeah, so we have it's funny. We have an app that we're coming out with, with the team. But I'm gonna bring Gloria in and get involved, and it's kind of like those family wizards and those co-parenting apps. So ours is Family Vault, and we give you so much more you can do on it than these average apps, and we're cheaper. So that's why we're actually going to collab on a thing together, because I kind of feel like we were the poster for disaster for a while, but now we're a poster for being able to come together and now running business plays with each other and co-parenting.
Yeah, that's good, man. You got to get on the other side of that.
Got to.
It hurts you, but it hurts the kids more.
The most. That's the first thing I said. Like the people I'm excited for the most. Yes, I don't want to be stressed out, but I want
especially
the
a
kids
weekend coming like, oh man, I want this weekend.
I want the kids to be happy, and they're very happy, which is important to both of us.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Going back to sports, going back to the Sixers, like, what do you think about this Ben Simmons situation, bro? Like, is he handling it correctly?
I think it's hard for people to understand, and I say this when I talk about KD too. When the world comes down on you today, it's unlike it's ever been before.
You got social media, you got all
just
that.
Because of that.
Yes.
There's a 24-hour news cycle, and everyone has a voice now, and it's never been that way before. So when people say KD shouldn't respond, I'm like, no, I say fuck that, because you don't know what it's like to have millions of people attacking you that don't really even know you. So I say all that to say, I think the Ben Simmons shit, when it first happened, I was the one saying, like, because, you know, Joel Embiid didn't directly say something disrespectful, but kind of hinted at it. And then Doc Rivers says some shit like, I don't know if he's the point guard on a championship team. I know what locker rooms are like. So everyone else in the media is like, oh, and they'll be able to get over it. They'll be able to get over this, there, that. And I'm thinking, like, for a young player, and he's still young, to me, his biggest weakness is his mental toughness. You know what I mean? So, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but I just knew what had been said was going to be the final straw. So now at the end of the summer, when the season's supposed to start, I knew this shit was coming. That he was I'm not going back. You know what I mean? But to me,
but you told me it wouldn't be good that you stay at the Sixers.
Yeah, Philly's a very different city.
That might be a combination that just doesn't work. You know,
Yeah.
and I think that's what. But I love Ben Simmons.
He's a good player?
I think he's a really good player. I think he's a top, probably 25, 30 player in the league.
Really?
Maybe high, absolutely.
He tried to hit on Michael Blackson's girl though. Also,
I ain't got
Michael
nothing to do
Blackson
with
told us that.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing to do with that. You'll be all right, Mike. But like I said, Ben's got a lot of game, and it's just his weakness. And I go back to his mental approach, because his biggest is it's not that he can't shoot. I think he's afraid to miss. Ooh. You know what I mean? And you see him in the summer, if you're on social media, you see him in the summer, he's out there shooting that motherfucker. Pull-up jumpers, off the dribble, off the swing, like shooting it all rhythm and making them. You know what I mean? But to me, he just has to be able to understand that I'm going to miss. Steph Curry misses.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Kobe
so
missed.
everyone misses. You know what I mean? So I might have a game where I miss a bunch of them, but fuck it, because the next shot is the most important. You know, speaking of Kobe, I remember I heard Kobe say one time, like, I don't give a fuck if I miss 30 straight shots. I'm going to take the next shot like it's going in.
Kobe knew he was going to take that shot.
So that's why I say, like, my whole thing is, like, he has to have a mental toughness about not giving a fuck. Like, his I don't give a fuck meter has to raise, because he's so talented at everything outside of shooting that it's becoming a mental block on the rest of his game. Like, he's a first-team all-defensive guard at 6'10" that can guard anybody on the floor. He runs the fast break like LeBron James. You know what I mean? He can pass the ball, he can rebound, he can do everything, but he can shoot, but he's just afraid to shoot. So my whole thing with Ben Simmons is I think he needs a fresh start, but I still think he's a really good player, and I just wish he had people in his corner that would really just kind of positive, like, fuck everybody. You're the best player in the world. Shoot that fucking ball. Who cares? Like, he just needs, and really what I feel like the game needs is, like, there's no more OGs in the game. The game is so young now. It's such a young dude's game. When I first came in the game, you had vets on the bench that were 36, 37, 38, pushing 40. Not necessarily for playing, but for just being a good-ass teammate and helping the youngins avoid pitfalls. You know, similar to all the love that, you know, shout out homeboy Jared Dudley got with the Lakers. Everyone's saying he's the best teammate we ever had. He wasn't even playing, but he was so inspirational in the chat. Like, you need that kind of shit, and the NBA as a whole doesn't have that no more. Back in the day,
like there should be one or two of those kind of guys.
Back in the day, it's hard to say that this shit would even got this far if they had like a real OG on their team, because an OG would have sat both Ben and Joel down and made them talk and made them do this and made them do that, and it would have made shit a lot easier. But now there's these young kids are getting paid. No big brothers. These dudes are getting paid so much money. Oh, you're not feeling me? Fuck you. And it's what it is.
And I'm out.
You know what I mean? But so to me, you need OGs in the league for situations like this. Now, I might not have prevented it, but it definitely could have helped it. I know for sure if there was, you know, just a proven OG, someone that had put their time in, he's just towards the end of his career, and he can just help these two young stars.
Is LeBron considered OG?
Absolutely, but he's still in his prime though.
He said, "I get it, huh?"
Yeah, he's not there to. Lakers are an old team. Yeah.
Like OG's like I used to play.
No, he's an OG. He just still plays.
Yeah, he still plays.
You got to think he's at an age where some guys, you know, would be sitting on the bench like back in the day, but he's still at.
When do you think LeBron, the way he's playing at this level, when do you think he'll tap out at? At what age?
You know, barring injury, when he wants. I feel like he's still got a good 2 or 3 years left in the tank.
Yeah, he'll be like 39, 40 years old.
Was that considered old in NBA?
Yes,
absolutely.
He's 36.
Yeah, the average NBA career is 3 years. So if he gets to 40, he would have played like 22 years, like some Kareem shit.
Yeah, he's 19. This is year 19 for him. Yeah, it's crazy. It's unheard of.
Yeah,
no, he's still starting.
Yeah.
Oh no, start like, dude.
The day he doesn't start, he's like, I'm out.
Yeah, I don't think he'll ever do that.
Yeah.
I think he would go from, if that was the case, I think that's when he would step away. He never has to go to a situation like that. I mean, he's made more
First of
money
all,
than he
yeah,
can ever
he's a-
spend.
yeah.
To me, it's just about when he wants to leave.
That's like if Jordan would never. He's like, bro, I'm Jordan.
Obviously, you hear, that he wants to play with his younger son, Bronny. So I want to say Bronny is a junior in high school this year and then be a senior next year. And probably by then, after that, you'll probably be able to jump straight to the league. So that's, probably 3 to 4 years, Bronny, if Bronny
Has that ever
makes
happened
it.
in the NBA?
Not a father-son combination.
At the same time?
No.
It's crazy.
And his son is that good?
His son is really good.
Yeah, Sierra Kane got some
Yeah,
some
they got some
ballers.
dogs
Yeah,
over there.
it's
Yeah.
expensive,
Yeah.
man. Gotta write a check.
Yeah. Yeah, we need
Yeah.
to sponsor. We'll love to. Never mind. We'll talk about that later. Do you think Golden State? Because we saw Draymond and KD finally sit down and talk about the rift that happened at Golden State. Do you think they were lacking an OG on that team?
No, because they had an OG. Sometimes shit's gonna happen, regardless. But like Katie and them both, they said it could have been handled different, and they possibly could have got to to be able to keep playing. But sometimes shit is inevitable, and I think Draymond's admitted it. What Draymond said shouldn't have happened. Like, you say that to the wrong person, it's gonna be a fight. You know what I mean? So what happened there, shouldn't have happened. But it was just, again, we're living a social media era, so now everyone's filming it, everyone's reading KD's lips when he walks away from the bench. That's why I'm out of here, and all this kind of shit, and then start trying to, chink at that armor. They're trying to crack that armor. I mean, that was one of the greatest teams of all time, so they're looking for any little angle in. If we can cause division between their stars, we're going to, even with that said, they still should have won. It was just injury that kept them from winning. But when you start getting chinks in the armor, that's when people could start splitting ways. It just happens.
Have you ever had a burner account on social media?
No, I'm someone that'll just tell you how I feel. I don't give a fuck who. Yeah,
You
I feel
don't
like
care.
I'm
You're not gonna hide.
Yeah. I've never come out and said something and I said, I didn't mean to say that. Like, if I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna say it. So
Wait, what, okay. Excuse my ignorance on the sports side, guys. FAQ. Who was the guy I saw you on Instagram? Did a video. You were like,
Kwame Brown.
it was Kwame Brown. Did they ever get squashed?
No, no. I tried to. But his situation.
What happened? Like, did he say something first?
So what happened was my co-host, we were talking to Jeannie Buss, and she said something about something happening, and then my co-host made a reference that kind of was a joking shot at Kwame, and I just I did just like this.
Reaction.
And, hit his knee, just like that. That's
Right.
all I did. I didn't say shit about this dude. Yeah. It was just, what had gone on in the conversation. And Gilbert Arenas was actually, the first conversation was with Gilbert Arenas, and something Kwame came up and Jack laughed about something.
Right.
And then another conversation came up with Jeannie Buss, so it's kind of like two in a small window of time, and I guess it got back to him. But keep in mind, the whole time I never said nothing about the dude, and the reason why I never said nothing about the dude, because as I told you early on, my grind was tough. Like, if a motherfucker makes this league and makes money, I'm proud of you, bro.
You understand it.
Because I wasn't a lottery pick. I was a second-round pick that got cut and had to play all over the fucking... I get it.
Yeah.
So it's not even in me to talk shit about somebody's grind. You know what I mean? Like, bro, you played 12 years, made bread. I'm happy for you. So when the shit first happened, I played against him but never spoke to him in my life. So I hit him with a DM, right before shit starts to get... When he was talking just about stacking Gilbert, hey, bro, hit me up. Let's talk. See what we can do. So this dude looks.
You reached out of love.
Yeah, just because I'm 41 years old now. You know what I mean? And like I said, I just told you the way I look at people. So obviously it was a joke, but it wasn't handled well. But let's talk about it. Shit, come on the show and tell your story. That's what I'm thinking in my head. Dude looks at my DM and then the next day starts going in on me. Going in on me and personal shit, attacking my ex-wife and my situation and this and that.
That's personal.
And I'm to the point where I'm trying to be, I'm 41 years old. I'm not trying to fight no more. And so I'm to the point where I'm hopefully this dies down, because if this dude keeps talking shit, some shit's going to happen. And he just keeps going. And I'm not listening to it, but I'm seeing little edits. And then my people are telling me what he's saying. So it just got to the point now where I felt like he was crossing lines, and Jack had just converted to Muslim. So he was trying to leave his shit behind. If he would have caught us 5 years ago, it probably would have been real bad.
Yeah.
Real bad, because there was people that were ready to get on his head.
Dang.
On his head. So what I did when the shit you was talking about was I just bro, you keep talking this shit. Come to the show. We're gonna be in Atlanta in 3 weeks.
Pull up.
If me and you need to box, we could box and then shake hands and come tell your story. You know what I mean? Because he started doing this whole riff where you guys hate on black men and you're doing this and that. Bro, if you watch our fucking show, we're the opposite. We're empowering everybody. And we talk shit to the people who talk bad about us. So, but you know, when you're at the top and we are the #1 sports podcast, there's already gonna be a bunch of people who don't like us. So as soon as he started opening his mouth about we're a certain way, everyone starts jumping on. Or you guys are Uncle Toms. You guys are this, and that. I was like, my nigga, do you watch our show? Like, have you watched our whole entire?
Do you understand
lives?
what we're on?
Like what we're about?
What we're about.
So long story short, man, I just told dude to pull up, come to the show. We could fight, we could talk, whatever. And it was just, to me, it was just kind of his cry for help, you know. And I get it, because you got to think this dude was the #1 pick, so he could have had the fame that, or the career that LeBron James had, and he didn't.
Yeah.
So he's been labeled, you know what I mean, and he's kind of been the butt of jokes for 20 years. So I guess it came to a tipping point when it came from us, because we're #1. You know what I mean? So he felt like if I could shoot at them, get a little bit of steam, and people rolling with me, you know what I mean, maybe I can get some attention. And to me, bro, if that was the case, like, parlay this shit into a podcast or some kind of thing where you can make some bread if that's the case. But at the end of the day, all I was trying to do was squash it with dude, because like I said, to me, you succeeded. You played 12 years. You mean, it may have been fucked up and ugly, whatever situation, but you made bread, whatever. So the way you were coming at me was just uncalled for, disrespectful, inappropriate, everything. And like I said, if it was a different time, it could have been a different result.
Yeah.
So it is what it is now. I haven't heard nothing in a minute.
Yeah.
Which dude best? Like I said, I understand where he's coming from, and don't give him an excuse for the whole shit he was saying, but it just is what it is.
And I brought it up. I just wanted to see if it got squashed, or because I don't know.
No, we tried to. Like I said, we tried to. I literally hit him.
Not stirring that up again. I just want to be very clear.
Oh yeah, well, because I haven't really even spoke on this, so I'm kind of glad you asked it, because it was something that it was heavy for a minute. You know what I mean? Like, they were attacking me on social media, my girl on social media, Jack, and all this other shit. And like I said, it was people that just want to jump on the bandwagon because they want to see some negativity between some black men. So they were just pouring gas on the fire. So, but at the end of the day, like I said, right from the jump, I hit dude. Like, yo, have a conversation with me. I can squash all this shit right now. And he reads this and then starts going at me personally the very next day. I'm like, that's some clown shit. But I mean, to each his own.
Speaking of getting under, people's skin, like, we always see that meme of you know, baiting Kobe, right? Like, who and I don't know, is he human or he wasn't human? He didn't flinch. Who are some people that you would constantly get under their skin other than Maurice Cheeks?
Well, to be honest with you, like, my goal was never to, like, I was never someone that's gonna first talk shit. I was never someone that's gonna first be dirty. Like, if it happens, I have no problem going there. You know what I mean? So the Kobe shit was just Kobe. I met Kobe when I first came to UCLA in '98. He came to the Lakers in '96. So he was young at that time, and it's been well documented. Like, he didn't really fit in with that older team at the time. Shaq was a man, and Kobe was kind of just a young teenager. So Kobe used to be at UCLA all the time. So we would see Kobe walking on campus. I would sneak back in the gym, watch him work out. So I got a chance to meet him, but I was just a fan. I was like, yo, this motherfucker's nice. He's only a year and a half older than me. Like, he made me think, like, yo, I'm not going to the NBA if this is what the NBA is. So I started watching him and becoming a fan his early days with the Lakers. And then, fast forward me getting the chance to play in the NBA, I was just like, he was someone I got to watch, and I always tell myself, like, I'm gonna have to guard Kobe one day. I can't wait. So it was always just a great battle. Like, I look forward to playing him, and just that Orlando situation. Like I said, we had known each other, but we didn't really have no kind of relationship, friendship up to that point. In that game, and that game was coming towards the end of the season. The Lakers had just beat Orlando in the finals the year before. We were one of the best teams in the East. They were one of the best teams in the West, and I just got to Orlando, so we're supposed to relink with them again. So we're about a month away from the playoffs when that game happens. And Kobe was just on his Kobe shit, elbowing me, grabbing
away with
me.
murder, huh?
Oh, this motherfucker could do whatever, and they wouldn't call it. And then if I had the audacity to say something, they call a foul on me or give me a T. So
what is that?
It's just that. I mean, I guess he earned it. Yeah, he earned that shit.
Okay,
so
I get it.
It was just a real back and forth game. And it just got to the point where he had went and tried to block Dwight Howard's shot. He was guarding me. We were both on the baseline. They threw it to Dwight. Dwight tried to shot a jump hook. Kobe tried to be Superman and jump over the back and block it. Missed it, but it came off the rim, and I caught it off the rim and dunked it. And like, as soon as I came down, Kobe was right there waiting for me. So this motherfucker elbows me in my nuts and holds his elbow up all the way till it hits my chin. And the punk ass ref is standing right there, doesn't say nothing. So I'm like, fuck this. I'm about to fight this nigga. This is what if this is what he's doing and they're not gonna call it, we're gonna fight. So we just keep going back and forth. And when the ball fake shit happened, it wasn't something I thought of or planned of. I'm a fake ball in this dude's face. Like, I promise you when I tell you, like, my arms did that shit themselves. My arms just faked the shit. Like, after the game, I found out the motherfucker's eyelashes were on that bitch and he didn't move. I was just like,
this motherfucker is
crazy.
He's different.
So fast forward, they go to the finals against Boston. Revenge Boston, beat Boston again. I'm a free agent that summer, and my Orlando shit didn't work out. So I'm in Orlando trying to figure out what I'm gonna do next. The Heat are interested in me, so I start talking to Pat Riley like, yo, we got LeBron coming in, Chris Bosh coming in. I want you to be a part of this mix. So I'm thinking, shit, I'm going from Orlando to Miami.
Hold on. So you knew before LeBron announced that he was going?
It was just the cooking. They were cooking. Yeah, they had a good idea of what was going to happen.
So okay, because I just saw a video of Dwayne Wade. And he was saying, like, you know, they show like him going and watching the announcement. He act like he didn't know.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it probably wasn't official. He might have kept it to his chest, but there was obviously talks.
Got it.
You know, so anyway, so I'm talking to Pat Riley and even talking to D Wade. So I'm thinking I'm going to go to Miami. And I get a call one day while I'm still in Orlando from a number I don't know. And I don't even pick up numbers that I do know. But for some reason, I was drawn to pick this phone up. And I answer the phone like, well, hello. He's like, yo, what up? I was like, who's this? He's like, it's Kobe. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, who is this? He starts laughing. He's like, yo, this is Kobe. I'm like, what? I'm like, how you get my number? He's like, oh, I hit so-and-so and so-and-so. So we start talking back and forth, ask me what I'm going to do. I told him I'm thinking I'm just going to go to Miami. And he's just like, you know, would you ever consider being a Laker?
Man, what?
Like,
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's my favorite team growing up. I'm a Matty Johnson Showtime fan. And he's like, okay. I'm like, hell yeah. And he's like, you know, anyone crazy enough to fuck with me is crazy enough to play with me. I'm going to make you a Laker. And, bro, like 3-4 days later, I was a Laker.
What?
That's how I got signed to the Lakers.
Bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
We
crazy.
need an FAQ podcast story like that. Hey, sign us. FAQ podcast. We need to fuck with somebody on the podcast.
That's crazy. Man, dude. So, I mean, could you even imagine this? Because I remember seeing you on like ESPN, but like now it's like y'all winning podcast awards. Y'all doing all types of stuff.
I would have never known. You know what I mean? Because to me, I'm going to keep it real. I was a journeyman. You know, I played for 8 teams and 15 years. It just was what it was. Everywhere I went, I played, but it just was what my career was. So normally people who had a career like me don't get to move in these same rooms and in lanes as people who had a career such as Kobe or LeBron. But I'm seeing these same investment deals and I'm getting these same opportunities and I'm having shows on these big networks as if I was a star, and I just contribute that to like a whole bunch of shit. You know, being a California kid, going to UCLA, playing for the Lakers and Clippers, not being on ESPN one second, the next second I'm on TMZ for fighting someone, or I'm on a fucking basketball reality show that people don't even watch basketball, but then it gives me a whole new audience with a whole new, you know, like the reality world, you know what I mean? So I think a lot of shit contributed into my popularity, and I don't ever try to say like I'm an A-lister by any means, but you know, I'm just recognized and known because I've just done a lot of real shit and played basketball and done some shit.
And you have great relationships.
Yeah, I mean, that's what this world is. I mean, you know, for us, I mean, LA is about who you know. And I took opportunities, you know, when they would say, you know, there's Bob Iger, you know, runs Disney. You know, I would go shake his hand and meet him and talk to his sons and all that kind of shit. You know what I mean? So I took advantage of the people, you know what I mean? Getting a chance to meet people and celebrities and people. It's crazy when I first got into the league, like you would meet a Denzel or a Mary J or whoever, and they would know you. I'm like, what the fuck? What you mean? Like, what's
you know
up?
me.
Like, Denzel, Barnes, what's up one time? And it shit blew me away. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's
Denzel,
crazy.
You know what I mean? It's like, so to me, like, we're fans of them, they're fans of us. So I just got a great opportunity with all that LA interaction to meet a lot of people. And then when I played on other teams, I would link with stars and meet the business people they were cool with. So I just, you know, I use my career as a platform for this next 20 years of business. And it's been working well.
So yeah, tell us about the show that you have coming out with Showtime.
So it's a scripted 30-minute comedy. It's kind of like Curb Your Enthusiasm meets Dave.
Come on, man.
Lil Dicky show.
Oh, we love
all those shows.
Yeah, so it's kind of my transition from professional athlete to single father of 3 in LA, changing diapers, cannabis advocate, basketball coach, looking for love, all that shit in one.
Wait, and you're going to be in it?
I'm producing and
and
starring in it.
Oh, you about to get your acting on.
Yeah, man. So I'm
That's
excited.
dope,
We
bro.
teamed up with Showtime and Lionsgate. It got greenlit a couple months ago. So we're working on the pilot as we speak. And, man, hopefully sometime next year we'll be we live on Showtime.
What? So is those some of your favorite shows you like to watch?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy, like, I just enjoy creativity. You know what I mean? And I feel like obviously those shows, I never really got into Curb. Like I watched it when we started developing this concept, but I started watching Dave, and I just thought it was dope.
Dave,
You know what I mean?
did you watch this whole?
I haven't watched
season?
this season. I haven't caught up on this season. I heard he had a lot of great guest appearances, so I got to binge. I like to binge watch shit. I don't like to watch one. I like to
so
watch
you
it
can't
all
say
at
nothing.
once.
The only the curb your enthusiasm. You have to watch. I think it's season 6. I think it's called The Blacks. That's when Vivica Fox. He has a black family that moves in with him.
yeah.
Just watch that
Season 6.
I think
Hilarious, bro.
Okay.
Shout out to
Meet
JB
the Blacks.
Smooth. JB Smooth.
JB Smooth is a
He's the
freaking
one.
genius.
We gotta
He's
get
a
him on the show.
We definitely do.
I like JB Smooth.
Like all smoke. You guys have interviewed damn near everybody.
Yeah.
I've never seen. I gotta give you props on this. Respect. I knew Carmelo Anthony spoke. The way he spoke, I was like, does he know the camera's on? Like he
Right.
was talking like y'all was in the
Yeah.
locker room, dog.
Probably therapeutic for him
That
too.
was first and foremost. I mean, you can trust us. You
Yeah,
know,
100%.
we create an environment where we can. Because my goal is always to humanize our guests. Like I know 98% of these guests, I obviously get to know more about them during our interviews. But to me, I want them. We know what made Carmelo Anthony great, but what's he like outside of shooting jump shots? What's
Damn.
Kobe like outside of being the Mamba? What's AI like outside of being the answer? You know what I mean? What's Steph and KD like? And they go, what's Jamie Foxx like outside of making movies, TV, and everything he fucking does? Like he had us laughing the whole entire time. So, you know, my goal when I thought of the show was to have an environment. To me, the vibe was man cave, smoking, drinking, talking like there's no cameras, like not throwing a microphone in your face like an interview, just like you came to the crib,
Really
we're
chopping
watching
it
the
up.
game, and we talking shit.
Yeah.
That's what my idea for the show was. So when I pitched it to Showtime with no sizzle, no nothing, just my idea, they took a chance on it, you know. But again, I think me and Jack's authenticity and, you know, the fact that people have seen our grind and who we are and what we stand for is really giving us credibility in this next space. And, you know, there's always been a rift between media and sports. It just kind of is what it is. There's a lot of great reporters and there's a lot of ain't shit reporters because they try to stir shit up and cause controversy and get clickbait, you know. So as athletes, it's almost like talking to the cops. Like you give them what you have to give them. If you have to give them something, you give them that. So I knew that once we got in this space that we gonna keep it real, so people are gonna talk their shit to us. And we always get so many like, yo, I've never said this on the show before. I've never said this to anybody.
Nice.
Like we have Fat Joe telling the shit I've never told us this. I never told that. He was talking about Pac, Jay, Pun, Khaled, Puff. Man, he was telling some stories and like it's like I haven't told. So it's dope that people trust us enough to let their guard down. And I think that's when you get the best show. But then also one thing I've kind of learned is I feel like, and this is not to pat myself on the chest, but I feel like I have a unique way of asking questions. Like I can ask a question and someone else next to me can ask a question. I'll get a night and day answer from what they get.
Answer, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like I try to relate, because I've been through so much shit, like in my childhood, and drugs and abuse and violence and all this kind of shit, to public divorce. I feel like I've been through everything. So, you know, when I'm coming up with ideas or we're doing through the rundown, I frame questions to take if it's an edgy question, I'll frame a question and kind of reference something I've been through to kind of take the edge off or the sting off what I'm about to ask you. And the person be like, well, shit, he didn't been through it. Let me tell him what really happened, because the media is saying one thing, but we always know that's not the truth all the time. So I think my ability to frame questions gets us those kind of, man, I've never told no one this before, but I'm going to tell you on all the smoke type shit.
Y'all coming up on what, season
3? We start next week.
Wow. Okay. So come on, give us some advice, dog.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
man,
that's what I
shoot.
wanted to ask you. Like, I wanted to pick your brain on, and I had actually, Matt, I really appreciate you answering my call, bro.
I hit you right
Like,
back,
anytime I
Fudge. You
call
know that.
Matt about whatever, he picks up and responds. If he can do it, he's going to do it. You've been a man of your word. Like, so you're one of the first people I hit on, like, hey, me and Q are starting our podcast.
I told you, hit me when you need me.
Yeah, so you said hit him, you know. So that's what we did, but it's like Q and I, we just saying we're being consistent with the FAQ podcast.
Yeah. That's
You
the most
said-
important thing.
You said that also. You told me that on the phone. But what other things are we? You think we should be watching out for it, even in our or infant state? Was this considered
infancy? Yeah.
We have over 30 episodes.
Yeah. So to me, watch tape. You know what I mean, and get better at stuff. I mean, like as an athlete, we'll watch tape and let me watch because I got to go Kobe, LeBron tonight, Carmelo tonight. Like let me take notes on what these motherfuckers are gonna do. Do that on yourself. You know what I mean? I've had so much hours of tape now at ESPN and being interviewed my whole life and doing all the smoke now. So it's really second nature to me because I've been talking back and forth for a long time. So, but I would definitely say, take notes and try to improve on, what I mean? I still have to work on shows. Sometimes I lead with the same question or same word, or I'll say certain or I'll say shit that I know that I repeat myself sometimes. So I'm always evolving in this space too. So to me, watch film to just critique yourself and your mannerisms to get better. Consistency is huge.
Let's talk about the bag.
It doesn't happen right away.
It does not. Who you telling, bro?
It does not happen. So
I had to buy an electric car, so I don't have to buy gas.
Hey, man, our first year, All the Smoke, although we had the roster we won Sports Podcast of the Year, we only got 30,000. I had to chase those motherfuckers down the whole entire time for the 30,000. That was it. Chase them down like,
I need
motherfucker, I need my money.
Right.
Like, for real. Like, no bullshit. I wasn't even smiling. Like, it wasn't no mo cheeks, kiki. Like, motherfucker, I need my money. You know what I mean? Oh, we're new. This is just this and that. So, I love Showtime to death, but we had to work some kinks out because they were new in the podcast space too.
Yeah.
You mean, and they took a chance on us. So I'll always have love for them. We have a great relationship. As you see, we're doing other businesses together.
Yeah.
I brought other business to the Showtime platform and opportunities to invest in different businesses. So there's a great relationship there, but it didn't start that way because they didn't know what they had. And then they thought because we were so cool that they can come back with a low ball deal. So the start of the second season, they came back with a bullshit offer. And I told them, I'm just like, this is a disrespectful offer. So we wanted to play cool and just re-lock in with you guys. But since you're going to disrespect us, I'm going to take it upon myself to do my homework and start talking to other companies. So I negotiated. Obviously, I had ICM come in and close the deal, but I start personally calling iHeart, Apple, Spotify, talking to people who want to just invest and go in that for different ways. So I start this conversation and Showtime starts hearing it. So they have an awakening and up their deal drastically. But at that point, I already was really fucking with iHeart, and Big was a part of it. Big lined me up with a couple people to talk to at iHeart. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, I want to go to iHeart too. So I was like, in a perfect world, I want Showtime and iHeart to be the digital. Showtime and YouTube would do digital. iHeart, which became Black Effects. I'm under the Black Effects umbrella with Charlemagne, did the audio. So I negotiated a situation where we got to double dip.
Which is...
It doesn't normally happen.
It doesn't happen. Right.
It doesn't happen. And then I negotiated our splits. I negotiated deals if we bring it to the table. So it was dope because I got to learn the business on top of it.
While you're doing it.
Yes, because I'm super hands-on. Like, All the Smoke was my idea. So obviously I have producers and everything, but I pretty much, have the final say and go over all this kind of stuff, and I lead by example too. So they it's not like this is my show, let me do it type shit. Like, they just know I'm gonna give them the right creative energy, and we're gonna come up with the best show possible. So I'm really hands on with that show, and it's been fun because it's been a learning process. And again, we've had maybe outside of maybe 5 people like LeBron James, Will Smith, Magic Johnson,
big names, bro.
Obama.
Oh, big names.
Chappelle, there's like a handful. Those are probably like a handful of people we haven't got. Jay-Z, I would love to get Jay, Puff. But outside of that, man, we've got everybody.
Yeah.
It's been so dope because, at first I had to book everything and find them and this and that. But now we're finding, people want to come on the show. Like, we're hitting up, we just locked in Kevin Hart for, he's going to open up season 3 for us.
That'd be hilarious.
Like, what the fuck? We got Kevin Hart now. So it's just like, I've been back and forth with 50's manager. Like, it's a grind because I think when they come to our platform, we get a different level of interview. You know what I mean? And it's dope. So I just love it. I love learning about it. I love getting better. And it was kind of what led me into thinking, okay, whenever it was crazy because I was just like, the Twins need a podcast. The Twins need a podcast. So I was just thinking of that in my head. So again, I work at ESPN. So one day I was just thinking, but I never approached it, talked to them about it or nothing. One day ESPN for the holidays wanted to do, kids talk about sports. So there was like 6 ESPN people, but our kids got interviewed, and they asked the ESPN people asked questions, And when I tell you the twins went in there and answered questions and gave stats and reason why and even hit each other like they were on their shit, and the ESPN people were blown away. And one of the execs were like, yo, you want to do a podcast with them? And I'm just like, no, I think we're good. But like I said, I was already thinking that. So now I'm thinking okay, we got something. So then I asked the boys, I'm like, would you guys ever want to do a podcast? And like all the smoke? I'm like, yeah, but your version. And one of them said, what's it going to be called? Mini Smoke. He started talking shit on what the name was. But I was like, if you guys ever get serious, let me know. And then one day they're like, Dad, we want to do a podcast. And we built that motherfucker.
Wow.
That's dope, man.
Matt Barnes, man.
But another dope thing we're doing too so we're building a kids podcast network. It's called KidCast. You can go to KidCast, KidCast.com or KidCast.net. And basically, I mean, if you want to take it to an influencer level where my twins are at and getting opportunity, you can take it there. But if you also just want to archive and see what your kids were talking about at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, you have that ability too. So we provide the mic and teach you how to do it. And it's going to be our own little network. So check out for KidsCast. It'll be coming in 2022.
Matt, you have your hands in a lot of things, bro.
But it's all, it's a lot, but it's stuff I like to do.
Yeah.
So just like basketball, I mean, I'm trying to got paid to run up and down the court and put a ball in a hoop. That's a dream, you know what I mean? And so, transitioning into business, like it's a lot of traveling, and I'm tired as fuck and I'm worn out, but it's all stuff I enjoy to do. So it's a blessing.
Is that hard on like the family or the relationship?
Yeah, traveling a lot. Yeah, traveling a lot is tough for anybody. And that's one of the reasons why I retired. Like people don't know. Like I signed a 3-year deal the beginning of the season. I ended up retiring. So I walked away after 15 years, and I still had 2 more years on my contract because I just felt like I got a chance to win a championship. At the time, there was some tension between me seeing my kids as much as I wanted to, and business started moving. I was just really excited about, what the next 20 was going to look like. I felt like, man, you played 15 years. You weren't even supposed to be in this motherfucker in the first place. You saved your money. You did what you're supposed to do. Let's make that jump.
Wow. Listen, can we give it up for Matt Barnes?
Matt Barnes, man. dropping knowledge, jewels.
No, man. I mean, because listen,
give it up.
You gave us, I know, because, man, you gave us.
I appreciate that, though.
You didn't have to give us, but he gave us some bars.
He gave us some bars. And thank you for, stopping by. I mean, listen, you just coming off the planes.
I just landed a couple hours ago, but I told Fuzz I'll be here, so.
Yeah.
On time.
Yeah.
He's a great individual, man. Matt Barnes, how was your time here on the FAQ podcast?
I had a good time, man. I had a good time. Like I said, you guys create an environment where people feel comfortable. And I think that's so important because there's so many podcasts out here and so many shows out here right now. But if it's let me stick this microphone in your face and talk to you, you're not going to get the best out of people. Like if you create an environment and a vibe where people feel comfortable, people are going to talk their shit. And that's what people want to hear. Where the world is so into what people are outside of who they are as a celebrity or a star, this and that. So you create an environment where those type of people feel comfortable, they're going to tell you exactly how they are.
Yeah, he did that. Listen, Matt Barnes is a avid supporter of the FAQ podcast. You should too.
Damn right.
All you gotta do, go to YouTube, anywhere you check out podcasts, subscribe, comment, tell us what you think about it.
Share that thing. Tell a friend.
Share that thing.
Tell them Matt was on.
Yeah.
Hey, one good thing that's important too about, and I think what makes All the Smoke dope and continue to grow is you got to have a good content team that's pumping content on these social platforms, like your best edits, the crazy shit that people say or the game that people drop. You need to have all those edits and pump them on your page and have the homies pump them and repost and tag people and start creating like this little ecosystem behind hash marks for your shit, and everyone starts seeing it more and they can't wait to, like, our stuff is growing drastically. Like we grew when I got on that Showtime basketball platform, there was like less than 50 subscribers. In less than a year and a half, we're almost at 500,000 subscribers.
Wow.
And then our Instagram following, I think, is in the close to 300,000 now. But it's just been
growing.
We've had a great, team behind them that's been able to pump out, and we owe a lot of success. Shout out Malka. That's the production company that does my shit and the Twins stuff, but our shit, me and Jack's shit, and the Twins podcast. They do a great job of, like I said, just always creating content, because that's social media. I mean, the world's at the palm of your hand inside of our phone. You know what I mean? So you always have to have your little short form and long form shit to just keep feeding your audience. And that's one thing that I think people miss when they're trying to come up with a podcast, because it's easy, because you already have the content.
Yeah.
You already have it, so you might as well cut it up and be creative and give it back out there.
Hell yeah.
Oh, man, bars. Or Barnes. Barnes.
Listen, man, we'll see y'all next time. FAQ Podcast, man. Subscribe, comment, share, move it around.
Yes, sir.
Damn.